Stop everything. Conor McGregor has unleashed a savage fresh warning from Max Holloway. The Irish superstar vows complete destruction during their rematch, insisting he is finally reaching his prime following a prolonged recovery, with zero hesitation and unwavering confidence. Period. I'm going to beat Max in spectacular fashion. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan claimed that although the UFC relies upon its hardcore fan base, the casual global audience actually fuels the sport's enormous success. And whenever it comes to grabbing that attention, he insisted nobody does it quite like Conor McGregor.
In July, it's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas. I mean, people are going to go crazy for the return of Conor McGregor because he's a giant personality.
But don't expect the same thing.
How could
you just can't.
He hasn't fought in 5 years.
Are we expecting to see a Conor that looked like Nate this last fight? Or are we expecting to see a better Conor than someone that looked like Nate? Because Nate did not look good.
No, but Mike Perry did.
And
Mike Perry looked like a fucking murderer.
You know what I mean? Like
Mike Perry is a murderer.
He's a murderer.
And this
such a savage.
You take a look at that, and when you're taking an older fighter, which Nate is now, and you're
21. You're 5 years ago, July. So it literally will be 6 years.
Yep. But when you're
it'll be 5 years.
Making things even messier for Conor McGregor, Max Holloway enters in incredible physical shape with zero demanding preparation needed at 170 pounds. He looks ready to compete at his complete physical best.
Younger fighter and putting them against the old dog, it normally doesn't end well for the old dog.
Well, the thing is about Max Holloway is like Max Holloway isn't that much younger than Conor.
He's not.
But the thing is, Max has been in constant high-level competition the entire time. Won the BMF fight, beat Dustin, like constant high-level competition.
That's right.
It's a different thing.
And I honestly believe him at 155 is the best thing for him.
Absolutely.
But he's not 155 in this fight.
This is 170.
But
yeah.
Honestly, he might
even better.
be
no
better.
weight cutting at all.
Just no weight cut, just kind of walk around.
And also, knowing this is such a high-profile fight, Max is always in insane shape. But particularly in this fight, he's going to be in.
Pulling back the curtain on Conor McGregor's preparation, Michael Bisping revealed one vital piece of his strategy, expecting the absolute worst before fight night arrives. By carefully studying every possible setback ahead of competition, a fighter can prepare solutions long before trouble actually appears. That mindset guarantees a plan B, and even plan C, a system Bisping believes is absolutely essential for anyone attempting a comeback after such an extended layoff.
Experience in the game, I actually work backwards towards the perfect scenario. So I have had a limb break inside the octagon.
And of course, that limb break was the last fight. That was 5 years ago. We've seen many people come back from that and not be the same fighter. And McGregor, certainly by far, way more successful than any of the others, right? It ain't going to be easy for him, for anyone, right, to come back from that kind of injury. And certainly when you've had all of the distractions that McGregor's had, when you've got all of that money and the fame, is the thirst and the hunger.
Brace yourselves. With only 2 weeks left before his rematch against Max Holloway, Conor McGregor's physical shape has suddenly become everyone's obsession. Fresh photos show a noticeably bigger frame at welterweight, igniting concern and arguments among fans. While some critics wonder whether this extra size is the right formula for a 5-round battle against a relentless volume striker, others quickly remind everyone that Conor McGregor is competing at 170 pounds and has a habit of proving doubters wrong when necessary.
This week, no one told me. Everybody knows when you come to Orange County, you got to check in with the big boss. Hurt my shoulder a little bit doing that. Conor's current shape while walking on the beach in Laguna. Let's take a look. I mean, again, he's outside of the balding hair, everything looks pretty solid. Obviously, broad shoulders, the whole deal. Not cutting a ton of weight. He's probably about, here he is, some pictures. We're not going to get any actual footage of Conor. There's some pictures of him training. Still looks jacked up, doing some heavy grappling, which we may see again in this Max Holloway fight. Don't discount the fact that in their first matchup, when Conor tore his ACL, he grappled Max. Pretty much dominated him in that grappling in the 3rd round. Max has obviously gotten better since then, but Conor's grappling's always been underrated, in my opinion. Granted, he couldn't out-grapple Khabib, and he got taken down by Chad.
Adding another twist, Wade Plemons offers a crucial technical perspective, pointing to Conor McGregor's 5-year layoff and the physical damage from his injuries as massive question marks before a possible Max Holloway rematch. He argues these concerns could matter just as much as everything accomplished inside the gym, especially against an opponent famous for relentless 5-round pressure. The real mystery is not simply whether Conor McGregor can still pull the trigger, but whether his body can survive the deep waters where nonstop activity and pure durability decide everything.
Itself is worrying me more so than just Conor's return at all, because you have a guy that's been off 5 years that I'm sure hasn't trained the majority of that time, at least consistently, for a fight, otherwise. Already some susceptibility with the rod, the steel rod in the leg. Obviously, the rust that comes with being out of the cage for 5 years. And this, having to, as he gets older, go up in weight for a guy that's 5'9", like Conor is. Again, he's got some muscle, but he's not like insanely jacked here. Versus a guy that's 5'11". And yes, Max, when he was younger, was a slender frame, so he could fit into 145 pretty easily. But you started to see how some of the weight cuts were affecting him.
Something unexpected is happening inside the MMA world. More and more fans are suddenly backing Max Holloway ahead of a potential rematch with Conor McGregor. That growing belief is not only because of Conor McGregor's lengthy layoff or concerns surrounding his recent activity. Instead, it shines a spotlight on Max's undeniable accomplishments since their first meeting. He has repeatedly battled and defeated the sport's elite, creating a resume that speaks louder than any prediction. That remarkable consistency keeps winning fans over. Although Conor McGregor still carries fight-ending power, many now believe Max Holloway's relentless volume, proven durability, and nonstop pressure could simply overwhelm him across 5 exhausting rounds.
Conor fights in July, and let's say he wins, and then there's one more fight, and I don't think they'll give him a cupcake there. This time next year, he could be a free agent. Like, it is a little surreal to see. I don't know if people look at these things like we do. That word Netflix is a pretty freaking big deal. That word right there. It is, to me, the most powerful brand in all of broadcasting right now. And could you imagine Conor going there? Whether it's against Nate for the 3rd time, which I still think that there'll be an audience for that despite what happened on Saturday, or the...
Behind the scenes, Conor McGregor dropped a contract bombshell, confirming he has exactly 2 fights remaining on his UFC deal, with the final bout already scheduled for April 2027. He revealed the surprising details during an interview with Ariel Helwani, explaining that the unusually structured agreement locked in the 2nd fight years ahead of time. The UFC pushed for an extension, but Conor McGregor refused, admitting his new deal still probably falls short of his true worth. Even so, he accepted the compromise because getting back inside the cage mattered most.
Difficult fight for Conor McGregor to come back after all this time. 5 years. The sport has definitely progressed. That is a fact. Of course, calf kicks are very, very prevalent now. And yeah, they were still being used in 2021, but it was about 2018 and 19 when they really started becoming a big thing, okay? That's just one example. The wrestling ability that a lot of these fighters have these days is insane. I just coached the Ultimate Fighter. All these kids, holy shit, I am telling you, the international talent from countries like Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, all those mountain regions, they are living simple lives. They're riding on horseback. They're hunting for the food. And they're wrestling like maniacs. And we know about the Chechens all coming in. Hamzat Chimaev dominating Dricus du Plessis the way that he did. Khabib Nurmagomedov, of course, Conor's no stranger.
Looking past the octagon, Ariel Helwani digs deep into Conor McGregor's contract drama and what it could eventually mean for his future. With free agency and enormous crossover opportunities looming, he explains how the remaining fights on Conor McGregor's current deal could open the door to an entirely new chapter in his career, one that may finally lead him outside the UFC for the first time in more than a decade. It's a storyline that could transform not only Conor McGregor's legacy, but the entire landscape of combat sports.
A very hot subject, which was Conor got used as a pawn in a game of chess being played between USADA and the UFC. And it was very wrong of USADA. It was very wrong how they went about this. Tuesday rolls around, and there's an article about Conor McGregor and PED use, performance-enhancing drugs. So Ariel asked him about that. And there was a time when Conor's leg was snapped in half that Conor removed himself from the testing pool. There then is a doctor that came out and somehow gave quotes. I mean, there should be an action that can be taken against that doctor. How he possibly
Adding even more fuel to the debate, Michael Bisping stresses the huge importance of in-fight adjustments and adaptability, reminding everyone that the sport has changed dramatically during Conor McGregor's years away. He points to the widespread use of the calf kick, calling it a major evolution in how elite fighters now compete. For someone like Conor McGregor, who built his career around precise timing and a unique style, that lengthy inactivity means he must prove he can still adapt to a sport that has evolved without him, especially against an endlessly active opponent like Max Holloway. The physical matchup tells a story nobody can ignore. Michael Bisping contrasts Conor McGregor's flashy, high-profile lifestyle with Max Holloway's quieter, disciplined approach, as Holloway has remained active and razor-sharp against the division's best, consistently sharing the cage with elite names like Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. While Conor McGregor has been expanding businesses, grabbing headlines, and embracing celebrity status, Holloway has stayed buried inside the gym, collecting. Now the drama takes another wild turn as the PED controversy explodes again. Chael Sonnen responds to the New York Times report questioning Conor McGregor's recovery process, fiercely arguing that Conor McGregor was unfairly targeted and treated like a pawn in the ongoing relationship between USADA and the UFC, rejecting every claim that the fighter acted improperly during his 5-year layoff. Sonnen has defended him throughout this entire saga, previously highlighting legal loopholes within USADA's policy, while insisting Conor McGregor could even defeat the agency in a legal fight. Meanwhile, the report alleged Conor McGregor used powerful banned substances during recovery with support from his surgeon, Dr. Neil Elatrash, who prepared paperwork for a therapeutic use exemption that was ultimately rejected. Meanwhile, the betting odds are screaming Max Holloway's name. Yet Conor McGregor is already delivering his trademark trash talk while Holloway fires right back, making one thing crystal clear: respect is earned, never handed out. With the showdown happening at 170 pounds and Conor McGregor returning after a 5-year layoff, plenty of doubters are questioning whether he can still keep pace with a fighter as versatile and dangerous as Max Holloway. Now the fight breakdown gets even more interesting as Tim Welch weighs in on the Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway rematch, pointing to the lengthy layoff and the 5-round distance as massive obstacles standing in Conor McGregor's way. He believes Max's non-stop activity and proven durability could become the deciding factors across all 5 rounds, making this an incredibly difficult challenge for the returning Irish superstar. Welch also explains that although Conor McGregor remains extremely dangerous early, the longer the contest lasts, the more Holloway's relentless pressure and championship experience could completely take control. This showdown could redefine both legacies, but victory appears far more difficult for one fighter. Zooming out to the bigger picture, Tim Welch breaks down just how drastically different the circumstances are for both fighters heading into this rematch. He highlights the massive activity gap as a serious concern, pointing out that Max Holloway has stayed active against elite opposition, while Conor McGregor has been stuck on the sidelines making headlines for years. The fear is that the Conor McGregor who returns may not resemble the fighter who once ruled the sport, and against someone as durable, relentless, and battle-tested as Holloway, that could become a major problem. That alone may be enough to tip the scales in Max Holloway's favor, according to fans and former opponents who keep pointing to one defining weapon: relentless activity. Unlike Conor McGregor, who has spent years on the sidelines, Holloway has stayed a constant threat in the division, consistently battling and defeating elite-level competition. By remaining in the thick of it, he's kept his skills razor-sharp, with his long-standing success reflecting pure dedication. On top of that, moving into a division that fits his natural frame even better could be a masterstroke, potentially unlocking the full force of his already legendary cardio and physical.